Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority. Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is also an author. Barb Schlinker is a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or look for it on all of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of people's largest assets, the home. So, Barb, what are we covering today?
Well, Richard, I'm pretty excited about this show kicking off 2026. And the first topic is about Zillow and how their predictions about where the housing market is going, it really does conflict with what the experts are saying. So we're going to kind of show you the different opinions. In other words, nobody knows. But I think overall the consensus is the rates are going to be pretty much the same. And I think everybody's just got this hope going on that the rates are going to drop and the buyers are going to come out in force and we're going to be rocking and rolling again. But I'm not seeing it yet. We might get lucky. It may drop on the second half of the year when the Fed changes, but it all depends on a lot of economic factors for that. The next topic is something that I get questions on every single week. I'll have home sellers calling me who are listed with someone else and their home is not selling. And they're asking me what to do. And so we're going to cover that. We're going to kind of deep dive into some suggestions. And I did some research on it too. So I'm not just using my own opinion and talk about what do you do if a house isn't selling? It's one of four things. It's either it's you weren't prepared to go on the market, so it doesn't look appealing to buyers. It's not priced right. That's probably one of the more pivotal ones. It's not presented right. So that is, to me, malpractice. If an agent puts pictures of your house on the market and it doesn't look good, that's a problem, right? Because the buyers these days expect the home to be amazing online. That is your first showing. And if you don't get past that step, they're not going to come see your house. So you have to win their hearts and minds first online before they come and see it. And then the fourth P is really picking the right agent. I'm not going to suggest you switch agents. I'm just saying that you got to pick the right person to handle the sale. And unfortunately, we have massive turnover in the real estate industry. 87% of real estate agents get out of the business every 5 years. Well, guess what happened in the last 5 years? The market was booming, flying high, watching the clouds go by, right? So they have never seen a market where, we're not commanding bidding wars, we're not commanding full market value all the time. And a lot of agents don't know what to do. They look back on history at maybe comparable sales, but is that really what the house is worth right now? So we'll talk a little bit about that. The third topic is one of my favorite topics, and Richard, you and I have discussed this quite a bit, is how to negotiate. It's just amazing to me that there's very little training on negotiations. Actually, there's kind of little training on a lot of it. But this is a pivotal thing that the clients expect you to know what to do. And yet there's no training on it. And you experience the same thing in your attorney practice. So
When I was in law school, they don't teach you anything, not a single sentence, not a word about negotiations. And yet, that's one of the major skills that you need when you're a trial attorney.
that's all you do. Because most of the time you're settling out of court, right? You're not,
Yes.
and that's a
80-90% of
negotiation.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, real estate is all a negotiation. And there's a lot of perceptions that go on. So I'm kind of excited about this particular segment because I'm going to use real life stories where I feel like the agent messed up on this big time. And that's how people learn, is they hear stories. I'm not making fun of that agent. I'm just saying that they are not trained on how to do this. And unfortunately, they just become messengers and not negotiators. And then the very last topic is how to show your home and have full control over the process. So it's another thing that weekly I get questions on. I get complaints from my clients. They left the door unlocked. They left the lights on. They left the actual combo in the combo box so anybody could walk up, open it, get the key, and get in. That happens to me, to my listings from other agents having the privilege to go in somebody else's home on a weekly basis. It's unacceptable. But if I call and call them on it, they'll deny it. It wasn't my fault. I know I locked the door, blah, 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 right? No, they didn't. They're paying attention to their customers. They're not focusing on what they're doing. So we have those problems all the time. So I'm going to give you tips on how to really be prepared for it, how to expect it when it happens, and how to watch what's going on. Because the feedback that the agent is giving you through the normal feedback systems may not really be what the buyer is saying. So I have some people that are hanging videos all over their house to see what the heck is happening. And I think it's great. I embrace it. I love it. Because then most of the time they forget they're on video, even if the camera's right there in their face. They're in the house and they start openly talking about it. And you get some very specific and clear feedback. So I think that's a fun way to deal with it. And also to have knowledge about what's going on in your home. You have to expect this day and age, anytime you go in somebody's house, you're going to be on camera. I mean, don't you have cameras, Richard?
All over the place, inside and outside.
Yeah. I mean, it's to protect you, basically. And it's also to protect them, right? So you know what's going on. Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about. So let's dive into this topic, Richard.
So we're going to be talking, Barb, about the real estate market cooling off a little bit. Many people saying that buyers have the advantage in this market, but you're getting mixed signals from the so-called experts. So what are the experts you trust saying about the housing market for 2026?
I don't really trust any of them, to be honest. I think real estate is very, very, very local. And some houses are hot and some houses are not. That's just how it's always been for the 30 years I've been doing this. But what these quote experts try to do is give you, based on their best economic view, what's really going to happen in the future. I think 2026 is going to be a little bit more of the same. We're going to have a little higher inventory. The rates are going to be steady as they go. Right now, this morning, it was 6.19 for conventional, upper maybe 5.75 for the government loans, VA, FHA. That for sure is driving buyer interest. And many buyers are hoping that the rates are going to drop down to 3%. I don't think we'll ever see that again in our lifetime, because it was government intervention that caused it. The government was buying down the rates to keep the rates artificially low, so to boost, the economy in general. So Redfin's saying the prices will go up. Zillow is saying the prices might increase. Realtor.com is saying a very smart marginal increase, maybe 1 to 2%. And of course, the National Association of Realtors members saying 9%. I'd be shocked to see 9% in any market right now. But here's the dilemma. Still to this day, 1 out of 6 homes actually has multiple offers. Okay. It's all about how you come out of the gate. And it doesn't matter if it's a fixer-upper or not. We're going to go into that in the next segment on how you can make that happen, actually. But if people bought a home in 2022 and they need to turn around and sell this year, they may be tough on the equity department. Hopefully they put a down payment. And there are some people that did put a down payment. They understand they're going to take a hit, and we're moving forward from there. So rates are more the same. Home prices probably are going to stay flat. A few months ago, Redfin came out with a report. They surveyed about 500 agents and discovered that there was a big increase in the number of contract cancellations. So what does that mean? The way the system is rigged, right? Theoretically, if you're playing by the rules, and I don't, just so you know, I have my own way of doing things. You get an offer, and then you have to tell the whole world that you have a contract. So what's going to happen? The buyers don't think it's available, right? So they stop showing it. And the all the demand just crushes at that point. It's over. And then 2-3 weeks into the process, either the buyer bails over inspection, buyer bails over financing, which is not the seller's fault. And the question that I get after the house goes back on the market from agents is, well, what's wrong with the house? They automatically default to it's a seller problem, it's a house problem, not necessarily a buyer's inability to perform. Now, the state does not require the agents to verify the buyer can perform. I'm not even sure they've talked to the lender half the time. So, because I have, and the answers I get, I don't like. So I'm just saying that there's a large amount of cancellations. Maybe buyers are getting cold feet. Maybe they can't qualify. I don't know what it is. But the problem is the rig part of the system is you have to create all this demand destruction by telling the world it's got a contract. So the buyers pivot to another house and then it comes back available again. So I don't play that way. I'm just saying it's a tougher market than it's been in the last 5 years. Couple that with the fact that we've got a lot of military veteran buyers around here that come in and buy homes, no money down, 100% financing. And if they did that 3 or 4 years ago and they need to sell now, they're in trouble. That's why the foreclosure rate is massive in El Paso County. It's ranked number 2 in the country, which is, it's still not as many as it was, not even close, as it was back during the meltdown. But those military folks, which saddens me, are in trouble. So if you are thinking of making a move, we track this stuff all the time. I'm not one of those agents that just shows up, posts pictures in the MLS and hope and prays some other agent has a buyer. I actually do know what's going on in the market, and I can give you advice to help you win in any market. So give us a call if you're thinking of making a move, 719-301-3900. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing Zillow, some of those other programs, their predictions for the housing market next year. What are other predictions, and how should listeners get prepared?
Well, I would say, first of all, preparing your home for sale is a really good idea, and we have a whole team that helps you do it. We can also help you price it right, and we will promote it right no matter what. Some homes have different situations where they need to be priced more aggressively for different reasons or less aggressively. Like if they back to a busy street, well, guess what? That's probably going to sell for less than one that doesn't. That's just one example. And then, I think the other thing that they could prepare for is don't expect a bidding more, but if it happens, it's a blessing and be grateful for it. Make sure the home is priced right. And we've got longer days on the market, and don't worry about the season. Do it for when it works for you. We're coming into the spring. Spring tends to be when homes sell for the most money across the whole year. I don't know why. I think we have a lot of military moves in El Paso County, other counties, kind of the same thing, getting towards when summer comes into play. But generally, mid-spring is a great time to sell your home. But last month was a great month for me as well. So just so you know, with 87% turnover of real estate agents every 5 years, and Zillow came out and said 71% sold 0 homes last year. There's a whole bunch of agents out there that had to get another job. If you're going to handle the sale of or have somebody handle the sale of one of your largest assets, don't use an agent that doesn't sell. But that's just my very simple advice. Hire somebody that knows the market, knows what they're doing, and can help you and give you proper advice to make it work and make it work quickly. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing what to do if your house does not sell. Barb's got the answer to that.